Hi everyone.
Hello.
It's Kim and Jennifer from Fleece and Harmony in beautiful downtown Belfast, Prince Edward Island.
Yeah, in much better moods today.
Yes,
Oh,
and we have a special guest,
of
Charlie.
course. Charlie is still here.
Yes, so look, you can even see where her
little transfusion went in.
Yes. So the very first thing we're going to do is do a little Charlie update because we have a funny feeling that Charlie's going to be bored.
Yeah, we're quickly going to go through. So,
yes, which is a good sign.
Yeah, but she's also exhausting herself. So a lot of people reached out, and I so appreciate all the comments and love that were sent to my little dog. She is 12. Unfortunately, when I called the vet after last recording, we did not get the news I was hoping for, which was that the anemia was completely onion related, because when they went looking, they found, okay, you can step down, good girl. More nails on the floor. They found a mass in her small intestine. So the popular theory is now that she's got kind of a slow leak in there of blood loss, and I've upped her diet significantly in iron, and she's going to go on an iron supplement. And her bone marrow is still functioning quite well, which is great. So it's kind of what's known as a regenerative anemia. So her body is still trying to compensate. So we're just going to help her compensate as best she can for as long as she can.
Right.
So I'm super happy to have her. And one thing I learned through this process was about the dog donor program at the AVC, which is the Atlantic Veterinary College, but all veterinary colleges or large animal hospitals, I'm sure, have this now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing. So our one at the AVC has, as of an article I found from last December, 35 donors, and they donate blood products and fecal samples to other dogs in need. And so it's very touching because I picture Charlie's little donor dog walking by us, you know, bawling our eyes out in the waiting room with a benevolent smile, thinking about how they just probably saved another dog's life.
Right. So they call it, are you going to tell how they do it?
Yeah, I knew nothing of this.
No, and when they said transfusion,
I'm thinking, what is it, $1,000 shipped from LA? Or like, I have no idea, right? Like, is this like an organ donor? We have to, how does this work? But the dogs come in, they're on a call list, and
they do blood typing.
They do blood typing. Dogs have 12 different blood types, so it's quite involved.
Boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just think it's amazing. So if you have a doggy that's nice and healthy and you would like to help other doggies in need like Charlie, you can go to your local animal hospital or veterinary college, certainly, and get in one of those programs. And in exchange for being a doggy donor, at our one, they get free annual checkups, free flea and tick treatments, and a bunch of other things, including a hero tag.
Yes.
And Charlie's doggy donor is, of course, our hero.
Right.
For this 2 weeks. I wish we had maybe given her about 3 transfusions, but it certainly helped her get to this point.
Yes.
So that was a great thing that we learned. We learned through the whole thing. And we're just going to see how much time we get. We don't know.
And you mentioned fecal donations as well. So probably people don't really realize, although there has been some stuff on the news about fecal donations, but fecal donations are quite important.
Yeah, so
in animals.
So everybody pretty well knows now there's like a balance, like a little ecosystem going on in your digestive tract, a balance of bacteria and different organisms and things that keep everything like yeast and stuff like that. So for fecal donation, sometimes they'll transplant that into a sick dog's gut to help rebalance it. And in fact, in the animal world, we've learned since becoming farmers that there are animals that eat feces, and it's a very important part of their health. So foals, for example, will eat feces in their first couple days of life, and it actually starts their digestive tract and gets it off on the right start.
It's almost like it inoculates with all the flora and fauna that they need to digest cellulose.
That's the seed for them to build their little ecosystem and get them digesting properly. And then they don't eat it ever after that, do they?
They shouldn't.
They shouldn't. If it goes past the first week, you've got maybe a horse with a problem. But rabbits eat feces as part of their regular diet.
Yeah.
And they make 2 different types of pellets, actually, that come out their hind end. And there's like the edible type and the waste type. And Paige will often be in there going to town on her edible type. And it keeps their gut healthy. So what can I tell you? It's a little off-putting at first.
Yes.
And once I accidentally stepped on hers and she got quite annoyed. She's like, I was eating that. Now I have to make more.
And when we you didn't know, but the digestive system of a rabbit is actually more similar to a horse than what you might think. So
that makes sense.
Our rabbits eat exactly the same hay as our horses do.
And they eat their feces throughout their life, not just to kickstart it when they're first born.
The rabbits.
Yeah, the rabbits. Unless their owner steps on it, in which case, I don't know what.
Yes.
She went hungry that day.
She was nudging you off of it, wasn't she?
Yeah, she butted me in the head with her, or like in the ankle with her head.
Yeah.
Like, hello, that was my lunch. You just stepped on it. Our animals think we're really stupid.
Yes, yeah. And we are until we educate ourselves.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Paige.
So that's a good news story. And I can't believe we're talking about poop.
I know. It's a real part of our lives.
Yes. And last night, after we came in from knit night, I was a little bit disappointed because usually when we're having our baked goods and everything, we're telling our stories at knit night, and inevitably the inspiration for the stories that we tell here come from knit night. And this morning I woke up and I was like, well, what are we going to do? Because every single story we told last night was about poop. And I said, we're not talking about that on the podcast. And here we are talking about poop.
But we won't talk about it anymore.
Okay. Because there were some really funny stories, but probably not for the podcast.
No. If there's people who are interested in poop, we can start another channel. Because we can talk about that for decades.
Yes.
Never run out of material.
Poop is in our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we always say, when we left our corporate careers, we traded bullshit for real shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Did I say shit? Sorry.
I don't know. Do you want to bleep that?
Bull poop for real poop?
Yeah, right. Anyway, so that's as far as we'll go with that.
Yeah.
So we do have a weather update because it's been pretty remarkable. It's beautiful here, but man, oh man, the last 2 days it's been windy like crazy.
Yes, which means nothing can get on or off the island.
Yes. So you really understand that you're living, usually it's a blizzard or something like that forces everything to shut down, the bridge and the ferries and whatever. But it was just the wind. The wind was absolutely crazy, which means that a bunch of the stuff that we were waiting for in shipments from other parts of the world have not arrived, and everything's behind. And I have this routine with breakfast, like just to understand how living on an island is the things that you don't think about. I have this breakfast routine every morning that I eat, and I mix, it might be gross for some people, but I like a really rustic oatmeal, and I always put egg whites in it for protein, and I eat that almost every morning. And I have no egg whites because the egg whites couldn't get over to the grocery store. Where Ken went grocery shopping, they were out of egg whites because their shipment didn't come.
The store must be getting a little empty because it's been very hit or miss getting across the bridge lately.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you could be in a situation where you don't have the necessities of life.
Yeah. So we do. Yes.
Not that egg whites.
In between our two kitchens and the walk-in freezer, we could probably survive for quite a while.
Yes.
But so we apologize to everybody who ordered certain things that have not come in, even though we ordered them well in advance of what we would normally do. And also nothing can leave, it's very sketchy with things getting on and off. It is an island. It's a true island. There is a bridge, but if that's closed, they don't fly things in.
That's right.
So that's the end of that. That's just kind of a stalemate.
Yeah. So you don't really think about it. Even us, even though we live here, we don't really think about it because it is rare that nothing moves. And especially when you look outside, it's beautiful blue sky, beautiful winter day, no snow because it was 16 degrees 3 days ago. Yeah. -6 today. It's weird.
Typical.
Typical. Anyway, but that is a problem.
Yeah. So we're trying to get things out as quickly as possible. So we thank everybody for your patience. I've reached out to a few people where I felt the order was getting quite late, and that is the reason.
Yeah.
Things are not moving off and on if you're on the usual schedule. And then of course it's Christmas shipping, holiday shipping season on top of all of that.
Right. So today's episode, we're just going to talk about our finished objects, which there's only one that literally I dragged out of the closet.
We have one? Oh, okay, I see.
It's a trick one. It's a trick one. Finished objects and works in progress, which there are a lot of. Yeah. and we're going to talk about all of those. And I guess here we should say, we invite you to like or give the thumbs up if you like our podcast. If you're joining us for the first time, then welcome.
Yeah, and please subscribe to our channel because it helps us get out to more viewers.
Yes, right. So without further ado, we're going to go to FOs.
Right.
So I am, first of all, my sweater is not hand knit. So people are wondering. I had last episode the silver stag sweater that I had, which was not silver, it was red, because the original is knit in a gray yarn and mine was red. But that's a free pattern on Ravelry. I answered quite a few comments about that, and it's a drops design.
And there's a cardigan version, which is really cute too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's a great sweater. So I'm just going to preempt this is not a hand knit sweater.
Nor is mine, and it's actually 100% cashmere. And it doesn't have a hole in it, which is a miracle.
Right.
It's the only one I own that does not have moth holes in it.
Yeah. And Jennifer said to me this morning, because I said, oh, I really like that sweater. She said, you have one. And I was like, no, I don't. And she said, yes, you have the same one. But I just remembered because it has buttons on the shoulder, and you're right, I have one.
Yes, I know.
But it's not like that. It's striped all the way down with little fine stripes.
Oh,
yeah.
I have two of these. I have it in a magenta color too. They're really cute.
So I was thinking of something with just like around the yoke, but it's not. Mine is all.
My other one has a moth hole in it right here.
Okay, great. That's great. So my sweater, sometimes we've been accused of being wool snobs, a natural fiber snob, sort of. I'm speaking with my tongue in cheek. But anyway, this is one of my favorite knitted things to wear, and it is not hand knit, although you could easily hand knit it.
Yeah.
I bought this, I don't want to say how many years ago, like probably 12 or 13 years ago. So, and if anybody's following along with the Cocoknits things, it's all wrong for my body type and the fact that I don't have any neck, but I just love it. And it's actually knit with an acrylic yarn that's blended with 12% wool and 12% alpaca. So it kind of has a soft wool feeling.
Yeah, well, you know what?
I thought it was wool. No, I thought it was wool, in fact, but it's not. So
it's not very pilly.
No,
That's
it's
impressive.
not pilly. It's well made, and it's actually a dress. But I really like it. This is not a color that I would wear all the time, so I'm thinking that I could probably just knit one.
Why would you have to? You already have it.
No, I want a different color.
Oh my god, that's going to take you 3 years.
No, it won't. Straight stocking net. Anyway, we'll see what happens. So
your FO.
Yeah, and so my FO is the socks that I'm wearing, and I wear these socks with this all the time. And the only reason why this was not the first pair of socks, I got on a sock kick one Christmas. Some people only got one sock because I didn't finish them all.
I got two, but they're big enough for an elephant.
And the color work was so tight you couldn't pull it up over your calf.
There's a tight string at all. What a lot of work, what a sin.
I fixed it though, right? And then the dog chewed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's been fixed now too. But they're just huge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We can rip them out and make 2 pairs.
The only reason why I'm mentioning this is because people are, the trials and although I think people that are watching us regularly by now understand that we have no problem talking about all the mistakes that we make.
No.
So these socks, I don't know if you're going to be able to see them, but we'll put the picture, of course. But these socks are, and
you're really going to have to lift your leg up.
Yeah, but I have kind of a dress on, so I'm not going to do that.
We'll just show the socks. Well, then don't bother at all.
Okay.
We'll just show them a picture.
Okay, so we'll put the picture.
These socks.
Yes, these socks. So there's quite an intricate cable pattern on them. So what I did was I knit these, I don't know, like 15 years ago maybe. I didn't finish them because I wasn't happy with them. And then I finished them more recently, since I've been here. And I'm going to tell you everything that I did wrong. And this is to make sure that you're not discouraged about projects that don't go the way that you want. So the yarn that I used was a Regia sock yarn, which is beautiful. And I still have the labels and everything. So we'll put all the information up. So
do you think they still make it?
I think they do, actually.
This exact color?
I don't know.
Okay,
I think so.
We'll see. Okay.
Anyway, I have the labels. So it's a sock yarn, and what I did was I just found a plain sock pattern that was a top-down sock pattern, and I wanted to have socks that had cables on them. So, and I wanted them to be quite fine so that I could wear them, like not like real works of boot socks or whatever. So I started off knitting them. I found the pattern that I wanted, and the cable design is actually from a sweater that I had knit for Ken many years ago. So I'll put up the pattern number for that in case you're interested. So the cable pattern, it's an adaptation, plain socks, but I insert the panel of cable. And I like high socks, so I knit them, just kept knitting them. I don't know how many balls of yarn
They're very loosely knit, so
yes.
they would go fast, I guess.
So that was mistake number one, is that I knew nothing about the fact that even though the yarn is a beautiful sock yarn, I knew nothing about the fact that your gauge on socks should be tighter than the gauge that you would knit for a garment. So they're knit very loosely. So that means that I can't actually wear them as socks like inside pants because they don't stay up. Because they're not tight enough. And there's no negative ease to them. Oh. So that's a bad mistake. And it's something that you might not think about is that they're loose on the foot. So when you wear them, if you can find something that you can wear them with, and you put your foot and you're walking on your foot for any amount of time, the yarn has gaps in it, so it actually hurts the bottom of your feet. So too textured, right? So I often wear them with a little sock, thin sock underneath for the foot, because then that protects it. So after I knit quite a bit and then figured out that I had made these errors and that this was probably a waste of time to do it, I put them aside. And then I can never leave anything just completely undone.
Except your quilt.
Except for my quilt. Yeah, someday I'll want to bring
started the quilt 30 years ago. Literally 30.
I still bring it out every now and then. Anyway, now I'm knitting all the time. So then I just decided I'm going to finish the other one, and I do wear them now because I figured out, well, I'm just going to put them over leggings. Luckily, leggings came into fashion in the amount of time that it took me to make them.
And will go out and in again. Maybe.
And I wore them to a party the other weekend, and I got so many compliments on it. I thought, well, this is hilarious because they're as far as sock knitting goes, it would be considered a fail, I guess. But I still think that they're beautiful.
Well, it's just a beautiful cable.
Yeah, it is a beautiful cable. I still like them, and the foot does fit, but they're just a little, like the ankle is as wide as the foot. Yeah, it's a bit.
They're nothing compared to the ones you knit for me. They're massive.
Yeah.
They actually look like they fit pretty well.
Yeah. They just don't stay up because
Right.
there's no negative ease to them at all. So they need something to stick to stay up. So I either wear them over leggings or when I haven't shaved my legs for 3 weeks.
It's really funny you say that because now that Rachel and I couldn't go to bar last week.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2 weeks without shaving mine now.
Oh, okay. Which
I think they'll be long enough to wax. I might pick up some at-home wax on my way home today.
So, not that you have to shave your legs, but I am a shaver. Anyway, too personal?
Farm life. Okay.
Yeah.
How long can you go?
Yeah, exactly. So, just a story about that.
No.
We're not going to tell that. No. All right, so this is the FO. So it's an old FO, but it illustrates a good point about projects. And now I wear them fairly. Every time I wear this outfit, I wear these socks because they go perfectly. And I really do like them. Yeah. It's just that they're not very practical.
Yeah, and in terms of modifications, I've got a doozy coming up in whips.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm actually really excited about
that
now.
Okay, so that's the only, so do you want me just to do quickly my...
sure, how many do you have?
I just have one.
Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Because I'll talk about the Cocoknits sweater that I'm doing in the workshop. I'm going to talk about a workshop separate, the workshop
Okay, that's a separate topic.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
So Joe Batt's arm. So I'm just going to show you. This is the front. So it's still not done. So, however, Yes, I had done the steeks and everything the last time, and we said, oh, jokingly, you should be finished by the next episode. So I actually am going to work on this today because I want to finish it, and I have one side sewn to the colorwork band, and I did about 4 inches and took out the sewing, tried it again because I wasn't happy with the way that it looked, and then I got all the way up and finished the sewing and still wasn't happy with the way it looked, so I took it all out. And I really, trust me, I didn't want to take it out. I thought, so do you think this is good enough? But I thought after all of the hours of work that I put into this beautiful sweater, I'm not going to be...
Yeah, and then what did you do? You came over to my place. So, I'm pretty sure I know how you're going to answer this, but do you think I should take this out? I'm like, rip it out.
Yes.
Rip it out right now.
Yeah, so I ripped it out, and I'll tell you why it was, because it was my own fault that it wasn't right. So...
Well, it's always our fault.
But it's not about skill. Right. It was about trying to cut corners.
Okay.
Or thinking you knew better than what the science of knitting told you to do.
Oh, God.
Which is always a bad idea.
I make so many mistakes thinking I know better.
Right. So,
which makes me a terrible test knitter.
Yeah.
Coming up.
So I'm going to tell you, so because the band, the colorwork band is knit, this way, so you have your rows are here and your stitches are going this way. The knitting was going this way. You're attaching that to the knitting that's going this way, so they're perpendicular to each other, which is a little bit more challenging to seam together because this all has to be seamed. So I actually have the blueprint class by Sally Melville about finishing, which I will put the proper things down so you can find it. Because the last time
we had no idea what you were talking about.
Yes. So I just reviewed that, even though I've seen lots of sweaters, but I just wanted to make sure that I was doing this correctly. And she gives a ratio on that, which you can go and look at it and see what it is. But there's a way to figure out exactly how you should match up your row stitches with the rows with the stitches when you're doing perpendicular seaming. There's a little formula to do, and you have to know how many rows of knitting that you have. So if your pattern doesn't give you a specific row of knitting, if it just says knit for 12 inches or whatever, you need to keep track of that if you have to do this kind of seaming. And but on this pattern, the whole thing is patterned. So Jennifer Beale gives you the number of rows that you have, and I didn't make any adjustments to that. So that was really easy. And then you figure out how many stitches you're going to attach the rows to. And then you do a little ratio and figure out, is it a 1-for-1 ratio? Are you going to sew 4 stitches to every 3 rows, or what you're going to do? And you come up with a little formula, which I did, and it seemed to be going pretty well. And then I started questioning myself because it looked like I was going to have extra color work left compared to the body of the sweater. So I started not following the formula. I should have just followed the formula.
It's often very deceiving when you're doing something like that.
Yes. And if anybody is thinking that they want to knit this pattern, but they're afraid of this very section, I'm going to give you all the hints right now. Is that you don't have to worry, because it's not at all like I was afraid of and delaying. The part that's the trickiest is the attaching the raglan to the sleeve, and that's a pick up and knit that you do. So you don't need to. Is that what I did? Pick up and knit on that? I forget how I did that. Yes, pick up and knit. So so you don't need to worry about that because you just pick up. So that's
1-for-1.
That's good. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're knitting in the round. That's right. I forgot for a minute how I did it. It's been so long.
She's got another side to do.
Yeah. Well, that part's done.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about sewing there and having puckers and everything, because you're picking up and knitting. Here, You can just follow, because you have a set number of rows and you have a set number of stitches on the color work, you just do that math, trust that math, and it sews up beautifully. Like, it really is very easy. And, you know, I was afraid that one was going to be really short and the other. I did block before I did the sewing, because that just makes it easier. Shouldn't
you always block before you do the sewing?
No, sometimes you don't have to. I don't block the pieces usually. I just wanted to make sure that I had the right size.
I guess if it's 1 for 1, and they're going in the same direction, you wouldn't need to.
Yeah, you really...
To me, it makes a little bit of sense to do it, but kind of like ironing your fabric pieces before you sew them in sewing.
Yes, and since this is a little bit more complex than just regular pieces going together than I did. So I'm really pleased with the way that it's going to look, but there's a little decorative stitch that goes on top of this afterwards, which is going to just really finish it. And
And I'm just thinking about that. That'll also help, because the knitting goes in 2 different directions. It probably has a little bit of different directional ease. And so when you put that surface crochet or whatever on, it'll help keep everything, I think, like the structure of it a little bit more solid too.
Yes, which is probably why she suggested it. Because then if you sew this, take your time and sew it, it looks quite neat. So it's not a matter of the neatness of the seam, but it is going to be, and you use that in the Barochois as well, right? That
there was a structural, surface crochet that helped hold that band.
Yeah.
So the right ease to match the stockinette sections,
Right, so this pattern actually calls for a knit at 1. But I think the crochet one works the same way, and the Barochois was a later pattern.
Barochois, you could do either. You could knit it or crochet it.
Yeah, so I'll decide what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do with that. So that's Jo Batt's arm. So it's coming along, and
you'll definitely be done by next time.
Yeah. And it looks like there's a little pucker there, but there's not. It's just the way that this is, when you put it on, I tried it on because I could put my arm in and I can see how it's going to fit. So it looks like
a really nice fabric. It's almost like it was designed for this yard. It's really working out well.
You may recall from previous episodes when I've been talking about this that I did go up a needle size in the bust, and I can tell just by the way that I tried it on that with these panels on the side and that little fix on the bust,
it's going
to work perfectly, and it really was the right way to adjust that, because my rows and stuff I didn't have extra rows and things, so that's it. So I'm really happy with that. I'm determined that I'll be wearing it for the holidays.
Very good. Yeah, that seems possible.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
All right, so that's it. That's all I have.
Okay. So I've been a busy little bee. So I think I said last time I was going to finish the Marled Mania, but I chose to do the Stepaside instead because there's actually a deadline for this because it's a test knit. So I got a lot done.
Yeah.
I really knit my pants off.
Yes. We were going
on
fast.
Sunday. Yeah, and it is Aran weight. So I'll tell you, after all of our chats about gauge and sizing and how it relaxes and don't panic, when I took this sucker off the needles, it was really short.
Yeah.
And I thought, I am in real trouble here. How am I going to tell Jennifer Beale that I have screwed up yet again and made myself like a little summer tube top that's cropped right under my breasts? But actually when I blocked it, and so before I added the hem, I chose to block it because if I needed to make up for some of that in the hem, I wanted to know beforehand. And I knew it would probably relax, but then when you see it and it looks like a little bunchy bikini top, you're like, oh my goodness. And look at how much my sleeves blocked out.
Yeah, they were just right under your elbow.
Yeah, they were up here.
Yeah.
So our yarn relaxes. So again, and I said to Kim the morning that I was bringing this out here to soak, I literally said, I feel like I'm going to face the executioner with blocking the sweater. I am so stressed out. I was up in the middle of the night. My lord, it's so short, blah, blah, blah. And look, I thought I would have to add these huge cuffs on the end to make the sleeves work, and they really don't need anything. They just need the little bit of ribbing that the pattern calls for. I am going to make, I think, the hem a little bit wider than what the pattern calls for, just because I don't want to be feeling like it's lifting up.
Right.
The little pockets are amazing. It's still damp inside. I've heard from others that it's taking about 3 days for this sucker to dry because this is, of course, double here where the pockets are.
Right.
So I need to get this back on the pads right away after we're done before it springs up again. So all I have left to do is put the hem on and the cuffs.
Yeah.
And she's done. Right. And I'll tell you something, people, I think we've said this before, but they get in a panic about alternating because I'm, it's like the cobbler's child who has the worst shoes or whatever. Is that right? Yeah. We always use odds and ends. So I have 3 different dye lots of slate in here.
Yeah.
But they're strategically alternated, and I didn't even alternate them row by row. I just used them in different sections and sort of like did a smoke and mirrors thing with the white, which is also 2 different lots. And kind of just made it all work. So, it's not the end of the world if you have to try to add yarn to a project or whatever. If you do it strategically, I obviously have some different stuff buried down in here. And I did have to think about it a lot because 3 is a lot to overcome. But slate's a fairly dark and predictable color, so it wasn't as difficult as you might think. So that's just, if you think about it, you can usually
figure out a way to
bury it in there somehow. Now, one little mistake I made that I didn't rip out, but I could have, and I still could, is that I wasn't paying enough attention to where these lines fell on the back.
Oh.
So they're not as well lined up.
Oh, okay.
As they are on the front.
I didn't notice.
I know. Okay. So I could redo it.
Well, I would wait till you actually get to try it on and see how...
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm showing all of you the front right now, which is nearly perfect because I actually counted where the white fell on this side and made sure that I was 3 needle binding off the exact same stitch together, which is all you had to do. But again, it's my first time through this pattern. I just wasn't really focused on, so you can see... Oh, now that one looks different even though I counted.
Yeah, so it kind of looks the same.
Partly in the blocking, I guess.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, because I definitely counted. Well, geez, I guess I'm not going to worry about it. The front looks worse than the back now that I've blocked it. It was matched up, oh, for Pete's sake.
Okay, well then
do I just have to hope one boob lifts that side higher?
No, well, do you have... I don't know.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
So then...
It's the blocking.
But you know what the perfect solution is to that?
No.
Is those knit blockers that we have.
I know, and I was trying to do that, so something shifted.
Yeah.
Yeah, the knit blockers, I was using that to line them up.
Yeah, so we will show the picture, but that's a really good use for
I have a picture of it with them in it. So yeah, I think I can probably tidy that up.
Yeah.
They should match. I matched the stitches stitch for stitch.
Right.
So something happened in the block. Anyway, so this is the Stepaside.
It just shows you how powerful blocking is.
Yeah, it was, I got like a good 2.5 inches of length off this.
Yeah.
And probably 4 off the sleeve.
Right.
By doing that.
And we should say that the reason is because, as we know from different examples that we've shown, our yarn relaxes width-wise quite a lot. And that means that your projects will shorten
and widen.
Yeah.
Normally.
Yes.
But this is knit sideways. So it lengthened and narrowed.
Right.
Which is what I needed.
Yes. So it worked out perfectly.
So it worked out. Now there's always the option to add more ribbing at the bottom to fix.
There's been some projects that have done, some of the test makers did that, right?
But and for certainly the sleeves, but for some reason, just because it's knit sideways and ours really widens. So this is the stockinette stretching out like this in our yarn, which is what it tends to do.
Yeah.
So important to block your swatch.
Right.
I mean, it was literally up to here.
Yes, it was, literally.
And the pattern says bracelet length, and Kim was like, bracelet length? That's not bracelet length, that's like armband length.
Yeah.
What the heck have you done? But it's perfect.
But you did your gauge swatch and your gauge was right on.
My gauge is perfect
and
to the millimeter in my color work.
So trust your swatch.
Which is most of the sweater, but you do need to do one. I mean, now I kind of a little bit wish I had done a medium. Because to me it's a big kind of outdoorsy kind of sweater.
Very cozy.
Yeah, and I'm sure Jennifer's going to roll her eyes because I'm always like, I don't want that much ease and blah, blah, blah. But in this case, it would be nice in a large, really cozy, voluminous, blankety kind of size. But, I'm going to love it either way. So that's fine. I probably won't reknit it. Although
very stunning.
Very enjoyable, very fast. And now that I know all the techniques, it would go very quickly. So I'm tempted.
Yeah.
I think it would be lovely in Vineyard.
Yeah.
Or A Night Without Stars in white.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. You might have to suffer through another one of these. I'm really, really, really tempted.
Yeah.
So what else was I guess that's
you
it.
could make one for your sister if you just wanted the exercise.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a pattern coming out in January from Jennifer Beale. And one thing I'll say is that yes, the patterns have unique constructions, but you always finish one a better knitter.
Yes.
Like you always learn something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I find that really, really satisfying. Yeah. And it's a beautiful pattern, and the pockets are just so cool.
She does a lot of nice details.
All the detail, like the twisted rib here behind the pocket, and there's lots of surface, well, not lots, but a fair amount of surface crochet on this to add strength because it's a very heavy sweater, and all of that. So she really thinks of everything, and I think it's just beautiful, and I actually love it in this color, slate and white. It looks beautiful.
Really nice.
So that's number 1. Number 2 is my Marled Mania, which will be brief. I don't have much to report on that because obviously it's obvious what I've been spending my time on, and it wasn't that. So this is it here. So I'm now doing the ribbing at the bottom. So I can't remember where I was last time, but probably pretty close to maybe at the purple. So I really haven't done much, but certainly I'll be finishing this up. And I need to finish the orange on the sleeves before I get back to my sock, which is on holiday until that happens. Because as I mentioned last time, I'm trying to share a ball of yarn in between.
Right.
And I didn't have to make, technically my color striping should have been an inch longer for this sweater, but I'm fairly certain it's a unisex pattern. Yeah. So to me, I'm not going to need a lot of extra ribbing, because I thought, should I do a plain stripe then of the blue and gray again? But I thought that would look weird because it's ribbed all the way through. Why would I do that? So I'm going to just make the ribbing the length I want. And I think he calls for 2 inches. I might do 3. Yeah. But this is all ribbed, so I could do 12 and still have the sweater look balanced. Right. So that's no big deal. And then you just go to the sleeves.
So is this is inside out, right?
Yes. Okay. This is inside out.
All right.
Do you know what the funny thing about that is? You have to remember to put your ends to the side you're working on. I kept sewing them in on the wrong. You know, like it's very, you got to sew them in here. Because you're working inside out. Yeah. That's real easy to forget. Yeah. As you can imagine. So yeah, it actually, it looks like this. And I don't know what the science is behind this, but it really does, the marling looks better in reverse stockinette. Right. It's less pooly for some reason. Because of course it's not a real marled yarn. If it was a real marled yarn, there wouldn't be any blocking like this. Because the 2 strands would be actually twisted together and incredibly even. But when you're holding them together as a double strand, you can get pooling because they're not really, you're just holding them together. They're not properly machine twisted together.
And they twist a little bit and loosen a little bit depending on what you're doing.
It's kind of whatever. So it doesn't, but yeah, it looks really cool. Yeah. So I'm going to be so proud to wear this. I just think it captures my personality perfectly. You know, rainbows and whatnot. Yeah. Okay. So now
you might have been wondering.
I don't know where to begin with this, but people have been asking, where's the husband sweater? And what they should have been asking is, where's the husband? And then people started asking, where's the husband? And so now I feel like it's been enough period of a time for me to explain that I actually don't have a husband anymore. So not since May has my former husband, Stephen, lived on the farm. Right. And it's all good.
You don't need to send comments.
We never want to be like depressing or share anything that's really negative or, you know, but it was a challenge to continue podcast recording through all of that. Right. I mean, it has been quite a year, but it's all fine now, and it's been 6 months. So, so that's all good. So we've parted ways, more or less amicably, but I still have the sweater.
Yeah, but you just,
that's fine. Okay. It's actually too big of the circumference. So people have been wondering what's happening with the husband sweater, and I'm no fool. I knew back then there was no way I was finishing this sweater.
I think it's pretty obvious, if you know you, that every time you said the word sweater, you went sweater. And you've knit a lot of sweaters. Yeah. And never spit out the word sweater quite the same way.
So, I couldn't figure out what to do with it. I've knit all this lovely cabling. So finally last night at midnight, we, as a collective, decided that I should steek the sweater, because look at how wide these the seed stitch panels are in between. Because the cable panel, and by the way, this is The Wild and Reckless Heart by Ash Alberg, which is in a book that we'll show you later.
Right.
This is the same for every size. There's a tremendous amount of dog hair on this at this point. So I'm going to steek out the excess, and I'm going to make it for myself. I've had several men in my life, fathers, nieces, husbands, and things, request the sweater. But I actually think I will be more motivated if I'm knitting it for myself. Might be starting to get a clue about why I'm no longer married. Sorry. So I'm going to leave it very generously sized for myself. And it'll be like a boyfriend sweater.
Without the boyfriend.
Without the boyfriend.
Yeah.
But I might manifest a boyfriend if I knit it just well enough. Not that I'm asking for that. But yeah, so that's what's happening. So it's now no longer the husband sweater. It's now the boyfriend sweater.
Okay.
Or Frankensweater.
Frankensweater.
Because I'm really going to hack it up. I'm a little bit devastated about losing all of this fabric.
Right.
So I'm only going to take out what I think I really need to make it not a boyfriend sweater, but something that looks ridiculous on me, if you know what I'm saying. It's going to be right sized for my boyfriend sweater size. Does everyone know what that means? It just looks like something you borrowed from your boyfriend.
Yeah.
There are boyfriend shorts and boyfriend sweaters, and it's basically like meant to be that level of comfort. You know, the sleeves might be a little bit long. Right. It's just kind of that snuggly sip cocoa kind of thing.
Sip cocoa.
I don't know where I come up with this stuff. That's what we're aiming for.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing. And I'm
feeling
debating.
pretty good about it, I have to say.
I'm very excited now.
Yeah.
Love Frank.
Getting it for yourself.
There's nothing like a good Frankensweater to get me excited. So I'm going to, I think what I'm going to do, you don't know about this now, I've been chatting secretly with Karen on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Well, she hasn't answered me yet, but I've sent her reams of texts because she's very smart when it comes to this kind of thing. So I think I'm going to now reduce this to what I need plus a regular steek width.
Right.
Continue up to where I join the sleeves.
Oh, okay.
And then when I steek it, of course, this part will be very widely in the steek. Like I'll sew it straight. This section will be very wide in the middle.
Okay.
It'll get narrower because I will have reduced to a regular steek width. Just so I don't knit. I'm not going to knit all of this and then steek it up under the armpit.
No.
And I don't know how much more knitting I have to do. Not much. Oh, well, maybe it's time. Oh. Well, that might solve that. I might be ready to join the sleeves now. Isn't that amazing? Perfect. Okay, well, forget that.
Things just work out.
So I'll just
you have to stand up and see.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm
and
pretty
don't
close.
forget, it's going to get wider when you block it.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, and so I'll do the sleeve size more appropriate to my own arms. And that's why I call it a Frankensweater, because I'm a little bit nervous about the proportional.
Oh, I think you'll be able to do it.
And then I do have to steek it down to, I'm going to try to steek it down to a number of stitches that matches something that's actually in the pattern.
Right.
Because there's quite a complicated V shawl collar thing that's going to happen up here that I really want to be on pattern.
Right.
Although I'll be on pattern for a smaller size.
So could you do the steeking now and then put it together, like just finish that and then just knit in the round?
Well, I could, but see, then that's going to be weird because I'll have a seam and then not.
Yeah, but it's seed stitch. Will you really be able to see the seam?
I think I'll just go and then steek it. I think I'll do the reduction. If I think there's more than like another inch to go, I'll just reduce it. If it's only another inch, I might just knit it this size. That's such a waste of yarn.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of beautiful 100% lamb's wool yarn wasted here.
Yes.
I don't know what I can make out of these sides. A dog sweater. And I mean, you rip it, it'll just be little short little bits. Like there's no way to recover it unless you use the fabric for something. Headband.
Yeah. Shrink it.
Your whole outfit. Fingerless gloves. I could felt it. Oh my gosh. Warmer. It would be so thick you wouldn't be able to move.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not too worried about this coming off the needles. And look at my lovely stitch marker, beginning a round marker that our mother made for us. So that's it.
Another project.
Salvaged.
Phoenix. We'll call it Phoenix.
Rising from the ashes.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to say that I do mostly enjoy knitting for myself.
No problems about knitters, you know.
Guilt. No.
Yeah, knitters guilt, and I knit for everybody else and never have anything for
This
myself.
is not my problem.
Yeah, mine either.
So, and you know, it's a beautiful pattern. And Karen, who is a woman that attends our knit night, and she's a beautiful knitter, and she has one of these sweaters.
Yes.
And this is my second one because I knit one for myself. No, that one was supposed to be for Steven and ended up fitting Ken.
Yeah.
So, you know, to finish this will be a big...
Yeah.
And
that's a big accomplishment.
It's beautiful wool.
Yeah.
I've picked, and now I'm super thrilled because I'm actually ready to join on the sleeve. Who knew? I'm more done than I thought. I didn't even bother to hold it up to myself this morning.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's it.
Very pleased with that indeed.
Okay.
And I'm
You never
certain
know.
I'm going to hear from other divorced women who will be like, "Well, I knit my ex-husband a sweater once."
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Do we need to do a separate thread? All comments related to that. You go here.
Possibly. Anyway,
Yeah.
as you can tell, I'm perfectly happy, and I'm sure he is too.
Yeah.
And it's all good. But yeah, I didn't want to bring
Sometimes
it up while
things
it was
just sometimes you have to frog.
frog it.
Yeah. Wow. we don't take it that lightly. But
No, that's terrible.
Yeah.
It's been 6 months. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's why I can laugh about it now.
Yes.
Possibly not at other points in the future, but
No.
today I'm fine. I'm just happy I'm getting my sweater back.
Yes, I think the sweater really was the antidote that you needed.
Right.
Okay, so you never know what's going to happen.
I know.
on this. All
But
right.
I felt a little bit, you know, disingenuous, kind of like just not mentioning it at all, because I know
Yeah.
people are very interested and we're generally quite open, but I mean, it's really not appropriate to talk about that during your knitting podcast.
Yeah.
But I did want to address the sweater, and that's what I'm going to work on over Christmas holidays.
Yeah.
So
And
that's how it goes.
There were starting to be questions.
And there were
so-
questions.
Yeah.
It's like, does Ken do everything? Like, where's that other guy?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so now we finished the Smitten for Knitting.
Mittens, knitting along.
Yeah, whatever.
That's not how you spell smitten either.
Well, okay, so she's looking at my notes now, commenting on my. Although
It's like smiting for knitting.
It seems to me that there was an awful lot of autocorrect going on in some messages that you were having.
I was in a rush. I was
to
trying
to a customer. I was
know.
like, wow,
Oh boy.
okay.
Hello, baby. It said instead of lemon yellow or something. I'm like, oh my god. Okay, I'm trying to get ready to come out and do this and talk to customers and whatever. Terrible.
Yeah. So we have a winner.
We have a winner.
Yeah, we're going to show some pictures because there was some really, really good entries. But we use
actually-
a random number generator
Yeah,
too.
but let's go have a look at the FOs first. So
Okay.
we'll do a little slideshow of
Okay.
the FOs, and then we'll come back and announce the winner.
Okay.
So enjoy these.
All right.
There's some lovely projects.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're back. So
Yeah,
they were great. I
fun.
really love the little baby ones.
I'm super sad that I didn't get to knit a pair of those mittens for the knit along.
Yeah,
But,
and they're not all mittens.
right, okay.
So we said color work projects.
Right.
And then people wrote to me and I said, yes, put it in and whatever.
We don't care.
Yeah,
So-
we wanted, there was a lot of, as you saw from a lot of them from the Saltwater Mitten book, which secretly makes our heart happy.
Yes, we love it.
And so there was some really great projects. And I'm happy to say that the person that won the knit along, actually, this was her first project doing these mittens.
Great.
Yeah.
You mean her first
Salvo.
color work project?
No,
Oh.
but her first time that she's done
Mittens.
salvo mittens.
What did you just call them?
Is it salvo?
I don't know. What is that?
It's a Norwegian.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so we want to know what it is
okay,
because you
gotcha.
saw the picture.
I'm thinking of the book. Okay.
Yeah. So it was her first one. And the winner is Pearl and Lace.
Yes, and you're getting a $50 gift certificate.
Right.
Fleece and Harmony gift certificate.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll send a message to you
Right.
and get your
Get you
info
all organized.
and get you organized. So
yeah.
congratulations.
And speaking of gift certificates, great last minute
Yes.
gift for other knitters in your life. We do have them online for sale. They're for our online shop, and we do have store ones in here in the shop.
Yeah.
That can be used in store, and we're definitely not going to be guaranteeing shipping for before Christmas.
For
So
things
if
that you're buying.
yeah,
Yeah.
so if it's for gifts, that's still an option. That's really
Yeah.
the only option we have left.
Right. So you just need to know that the when you buy them online, you actually get an electronic.
Yeah, it comes in an email.
It comes in an email. So we're not sending a card.
Yes.
It's actually an electronic transaction, and you'll have to write a nice
Yeah.
card and talk about it.
Print it and shove it in there.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah. So that's good. So one cowl down.
Okay.
The next knit along that we have going is the Cocoknits sweater workshop.
Yes. Which we're very excited because you know we love Cocoknits.
Yes.
We couldn't love Cocoknits anymore if they were our sisters.
Yes.
Whatever that
That's-
means when it's
yeah.
a
Right.
yarn accessory company.
Yeah.
But they have donated the
Yes.
prize.
Yes.
So we probably would have just done another $50 gift certificate, but the lucky winner of the Cocoknits Cal is getting the Cocoknits
Knit
blocking
block.
kit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's very exciting.
Yeah.
And
Donated
thank
by
you,
Cocoknits.
Yeah, thank you so much, Cocoknits, for supporting our knit along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're thrilled.
Yes.
We
So nice.
It just came out. So I'm going to show my sweater. I've actually been doing quite a lot of knitting on this.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. I'm just going to get, I've been putting pictures up in the thread in Ravelry as well. So everybody sees how it's working. And there's a few posts there, but maybe people waiting for their books.
People are waiting for their books because the books have not arrived.
It goes to March
Our
15th.
top-up order of the books didn't arrive.
Yeah,
remember
that's part
last
of
week,
it.
last episode where I was like, well, I didn't take it down because they always arrive so quickly.
Yeah.
That it'll just be seamless.
Yeah.
You should never say anything like
No,
that.
that's
not
your-
seamless.
Right.
That's a guarantee that they will not arrive.
Yes.
How cocky of me. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I know.
Everybody
Cheeky,
who's waiting
cheeky.
for boots.
Yeah.
Books. Okay.
So here it is. This is the V-neck. So it's really straightforward. The instructions are impeccable. Every time you do some kind of different maneuver, it's well written. There's
They definitely
pictures
have
in
you
the back.
covered. I mean, I
Yeah,
think we're
they
getting
really have you covered. And you can see a little bit better how, because I've split for the sleeves now, but you can see a little bit better. It's not blocked, obviously, but how you have kind of the look of a set-in sleeve because of the way the pickups go and that kind of
Yes,
thing.
because Jennifer from Cocoknits watched
Yes.
the podcast and said, "Oh, I see your partner there doesn't like
Not a fan of top-down
raglan sleeves." Oh dear. But actually, so it's actually a top-down method that looks like a set-in sleeve,
Yes,
which is of course genius. So
Yes, which is why I
all
like it.
is forgiven as far as the
Which is
top
why
down in the round.
Yeah, well, which is
Yeah.
why I like it.
But it is amazing. Look at that.
Yeah.
It really does look like a set-in sleeve.
Yeah.
Cool.
And on the top you have the strengthening
Yeah.
thing
I
here.
just love smart people.
I know. That's
Oh,
where you love.
so fun.
We love smart people. So you have this. So when you see it on the shoulder, because now I can actually try this on because it's a top down.
Right. So convenient.
It's very convenient. And I do want to talk about the fact that I'm also using, I guess, what would be considered seconds in our yarns for this, because that's what we do with all of them.
Yeah.
And I'm using the helical knitting trick that we showed in another episode, and it's working beautifully.
Yeah.
It is absolutely flawless as far as where you're joining the yarn, the alternating skeins.
And I will put that tutorial up separately in our tutorial playlist, so you can find it.
And I will just give a little hint that in the tutorial it talks about doing the slipping 3 stitches. You have to look at the tutorial and you'll understand what I mean. Slipping 3 stitches before you change the yarn, and I don't really think that's. There might be a reason why they talked about that in the place where I learned how to do it. But in this, I'm starting the slipping just 1 stitch before where the other yarn starts. So you'll have to look at the video to understand what I'm saying exactly. But you don't need to do all 3 slip stitches. I'm only doing 1, and then
I can't see how that would make a difference.
Yeah, it doesn't. I think the big key to the whole thing is that you're not twisting the 2 yarns together.
Right.
So so the secret of why helical knitting works is that you're not creating a twist.
Right. Makes a lot of sense.
Yes, and it's kind of a foolproof method because you're slipping stitches before you get to where you pick up the next color yarn or the next ball. So that's why it works.
Right. Okay. Neat.
So you can cut down the amount that you're doing. And I did see methods as well where you didn't do any slipping. You just make sure that you keep the yarn. But I don't know about you guys, but for me, I'm not taking any chances because I'm talking and I'm knitting and whatever. So that's a way just to keep them straight, I think.
Right.
So that's it. And I wanted to just show, because I showed this on an FO, but I just have to show this because I'm so absolutely satisfied with this. Look at this.
She's obsessed with the Nostopin winding.
I know. It's a work of art.
Everybody showed up because, of course, we've been selling the Nostopins for a while now. Everybody at Knit Night had to show off their Nostopin ball.
Yeah. It is something about them.
It is really cool.
Yeah.
It's like a little coconut, and I love coconuts too. Coconuts and pineapples.
Coconut and coconuts.
Coconuts for coconuts. And the coconut, it's a coconut.
Well, I'm calling it my little avocado.
If that was brown, that would totally be a coconut.
I know, maybe I'll have to make one. I'll ball one up.
Felt it together and
I just love it.
I know, there's something about it.
There is something about it.
I'm not completely drinking the Kool-Aid because it looks like it's kind of slow, but
it is slower than winding on a ball winder. And I mean, the balls that I'm knitting with right now, I won't wound on the ball winder because I was in a hurry to start the sweater. And you know what? It's creates a cake, it's nice, but I don't know how many times I've put in the tail into the middle because I don't knit from the inside because then I find they fall apart. I knit from the outside of a cake, and I don't know how many times I've shoved the tail back in because when it starts to get loose, the tail starts coming out. I haven't actually knit with the tail, but I could see that happening but not with this. Just stays perfectly
well,
down to the bottom.
A lot of people ordered Nostopins, so they're still up. So that's how you make your knitting coconut.
Yeah.
Karen's was very round. She obviously discovered a different method.
Yes, there's different methods.
Okay.
You can make a cake too, but it still has a firmer feel to it.
I'm tempted. It's very tempting.
You should try it. But you have to have the time to do it. I mean, it doesn't.
How long does it take to do a ball?
Well,
Seriously?
I did those two on Sunday morning. It probably took, 45 minutes to do 2.
But if you have something like my new very painful chiagu hole and you can't knit, that would be an alternative.
Satisfying.
You're still working on your project, but man, this chiagu hole I got from going hardcore on that Stepaside is something else. And I jammed the needle in the hole again last night, and that really hurt. I actually cried out.
She had to cried out.
Cried out in agony. Well, I did.
Yes, I know. Not that you tend towards the dramatic. I'm just saying.
Well, and burnt bang is showing while we're on it.
Okay.
You see?
Yes, okay.
That's where I lit my hair on fire.
All right.
It's been a rough year.
Another episode. Okay.
Fine. Shop update now. I'm trying the mascara off. Anyway, it hurts when you jam the needle back in the hole you made a week ago.
So she had to put tape on it.
I had Scotch tape on it. I can't knit without some kind of protection now.
Yeah, so that it ended up being a whole discussion on thimbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course we love the needles. It's nothing against. I don't know how my shag, I didn't use them on the Marled Mania, and so my callus.
You didn't?
Well, I only have the one size in those. Like if I'm knitting, I've got a lot of projects on the go. I can't use them for everything. Like I don't have enough extra cables and stuff to do all that.
I came and borrowed yours.
Well, whatever.
So
that really made me laugh.
Okay.
So anyway, it just needs a Band-Aid till it really roughs over a bit.
You'll toughen up.
It's kind of more like a split.
Oh, but I don't know if you just heard that. That's Charlie snoring.
Charlie snoring in the background. Okay.
So now we're in so much Haagen-Dazs ice cream that now she's snoring.
That peanut butter Haagen-Dazs is deadly.
Yeah.
I was eating 2 containers a week.
Don't say deadly.
Right.
Okay.
Dangerous.
Yes. Dangerous really for your waistline.
There's this peanut butter caramel swirl thing in it.
Oh.
It does have chocolate chips, but I take them out for the dog. Don't anybody worry. I know chocolate's very bad.
Yeah.
Questioning how much real chocolate is in any of that stuff these days, but maybe in Haagen-Dazs there might actually be a significant amount of cocoa in it.
Okay, so now I want to talk about my coconuts. Cocoknits. My Cocoknits workshop.
Oh, sorry.
So the thread is up on Ravelry. I've been posting pictures of my progress there. I've gotten a couple questions about different sweaters that people are doing. There's still lots of time because the sweaters...
Yes, please join in. Yeah. And I know people are definitely waiting for their books, and that's our fault and the winds and various other things. But there'll be lots of time to start it after the new year, to be honest.
It goes really quickly.
Kim might be done, but nobody else will,
No.
And then that'll just be better for you because
if I knit my usual stuff, I'm just finding it so interesting that I'm knitting on it when I should be sewing my Joe.
See, that's fun. But you know what? You're that just allows you to have more time to moderate and help others.
Yes,
I think it's even better just to start it after the new year if you want.
Yeah.
So join in because the prize is exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, that was really nice. A nice thing, surprise for everybody. Okay, so now we have the shop update.
Yes.
And Jennifer's going to be are you going to show your thing that you're all excited about first?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. You don't want to say that till last?
Well, not now. They'll be like, oh, damn it.
Okay.
So what I did, because I'm obsessed, as you know, with these colors. I don't know what it is. I put them in my Marled Mania. People have asked for contrast mini skeins for heels and toes for our sock collection. So I've created this kit. Now I'm not selling these individual. We're not selling these individually yet. Mm-hmm. It's quite a lot of work to create small skeins of things, small little bits of things. So we created a kit with all 6 of the rainbow colors in it. And this is exactly what I used in my Marled Mania. There's 100 yards of each, and we're selling them together packaged. So this will be under the POINT PRIM Sock section of our website, but I'll also link to it below. Mm-hmm. So this is the first time that this has ever been available. It makes me so happy. I don't even know how to tell you how happy this makes me. So the weird kind of unicorny rainbow inner child types like myself, I think will really love this. We'll have to have it. Yeah. So 100 yards. I skeined off 120 yards of each for my Marled Mania, but because I'm not done yet, I don't know how much I'm actually going to use, and I am knitting, I think, the small. So I can't guarantee that it'll be enough for your Marled Mania.
But your intention was for
But my intention is for contrast toes and heels because we've had several customers now ask us for that. And I'm assuming they wanted it in these colors because the red and the blue and the gray are pretty standard. Like they're not high contrast. So how would you do contrast heels and toes with those? You wouldn't. They're all sort of very deep. So I'm hoping that this is what everybody wanted.
The gray and the navy you can.
Yeah, sure. Okay, but that's such a serviceable color. You could use the whole skein of that anyway. So I did the rainbow to start.
Not as fun.
It's not as fun.
No. But you could use this with
This is 6 pairs of contrasting socks you've got here.
Right. And you want to mention the fact that the Ferris wheel and the
Sea glass. Yes.
have these colors in it.
Yes. So for the Ferris wheel, it has all of these in it.
Yeah. So the speckled,
Yeah.
2 speckled colors in sock yarn.
Yeah.
Ferris wheel and sea glass.
Yeah, and sea glass has all these in it.
Right.
So that would be beautiful to do a sock with the speckled sea glass as the main part of the sock, and then throw one of these on the toes and the heels.
Yes.
Or even a combination of, you could do a toe, heel, hem.
Yeah.
You could get really crazy with
Yes.
it. I'm excited. If you do get crazy with it, please send us pictures.
Yeah, we want to see it. And then the Ferris wheel has the other ones, right?
Ferris wheel has all of them.
All of them. Okay.
So you could do 6 Ferris wheel sets of socks, each with different. How fun would that be? Like days of the week underpants, which never had a Sunday. If you've watched When Harry Met Sally,
Really?
apparently it was like sort of sacrilegious to make Sunday days of the week underpants.
So you don't wear underwear on Sundays?
Seems like that has the alternate
Seems
effect.
like Sundays should probably be the most important.
It's not me. It was. My gosh,
I
what's her name? Meg Ryan in When Harry Met Sally explains the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah, her boyfriend broke up with her because Sunday was missing.
Oh my god!
I
I don't know
love
how
that
you
movie.
remember. You probably just watched it recently.
I watch it annually. Like
You
it's
really?
on my Christmas rotation. I love it.
Oh,
And Harry Connick Jr. does all the music.
Yeah.
What? Where is today's Nora Ephron? Like, I love those movies. I'm a complete sucker for them,
Yeah.
especially that one. That one's my favorite. And all
Yeah.
the love stories at the end of the people who got together. And
Right.
it's such a great movie.
Yeah. I'll have to
One of my
rewatch
all-time
it.
favorites.
I
God,
watch Love
it.
Actually every Christmas.
Yeah, this is even way older.
Yeah.
That and Sleepless in Seattle. I watch them both several times a year.
Oh, I'm gonna dig them up. And
Yeah, they're on Crave right now.
yeah, so just because randomly how our mind works, I have to we should talk about the fact that your big mistake that you found in City Slickers, because I don't know what kind of old movie thing you're on over there on your side.
I was a big
but
Billy Crystal fan.
yeah.
Because I watched Analyze This and other, I go through the whole gamut. I guess I love the 80s movies. Or is it early 90s? 80s. Late 80s.
I don't know.
I haven't hauled out Titanic yet. That's a big commitment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched City Slickers again, which I remember my mom taking me to, and we thought it was hilarious. But it's really hilarious if you live in a beef cattle area.
Right.
Hysterical. And I only realized this last week when I watched the movie again, but the little calf that he adopts, what does he call it? Norman. So it's Jack Palance and Billy Crystal. Jack Palance.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna get all emotional now. So he's of course passed away, but he's brilliant in this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of a Western,
Right.
but it's a comedy. Anyway, and they pull out this calf out of this herd of beef cattle that they're driving cross country from somewhere to New Mexico or something like that. And this remarkably, I think it's like Longhorns they're driving or something. Yeah. Definitely a beef breed, whatever it is.
Something big and beefy.
A meat breed. They pull a Jersey cow out of a beef cow.
A miracle.
A Jersey calf out of a beef cow.
Yeah.
And nobody, unless you've had cattle or been around cattle or dairy farms, would understand how ridiculous it is to have a beef cow give birth to a Jersey. Not only because Jerseys are dairy cattle, but they're also kind of the most anti-beefy dairy cattle breed you can buy. They're smallish. They're very delicate. I've heard they're not very bright. I'm not sure that's
know.
very.
Oh, now we're gonna get those from.
Now I'm not sure.
They're sweet looking.
They're sweet, beautiful little. They don't come out of Longhorn.
So if you're going to adopt a cow,
right? Actually, I don't think they were Longhorns, but they're some kind of Western beef breed. Anyway, it's hilarious. So I'm watching it and I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Norman's a Jersey calf, and what's funny is that would have made it very small for him to handle on set because there was significantly a smaller breed. Than whatever they were driving.
Yes, and on the opposite end of that, I just saw something come up in I belong on Facebook to Farmers Forum on Facebook, and where people are all chatting, and they showed a picture of a film that was just made that there's a cow that gives birth to a calf, and this is beautiful scene, like in the barn, and the person is down like looking at the calf or whatever, and it's a Jersey cow that just gave birth to a Holstein fucking white calf, which is also as ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah.
So funny. Hollywood, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So hilarious.
Yeah.
No one would have any idea. But Jersey calves, I don't want to say they're the cutest, but they've got the big brown eyes and the long eyelashes, so I can see why they did it, but it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So funny. And I almost spit out my hot chocolate while I was watching it when that all came to. It's really funny once you get into the farming world, like all the little memes and jokes and inside jokes that farm people have that regular people would never get, that I get on my Facebook all the time, which I find hilarious. I'm like, wow, I get this now.
Yeah.
It would not have been funny in my I would be like, what? I don't get it. What do you mean a Jersey cow? Like, what's the difference?
It just goes to show that you're like how
isolated from because at one time we all lived on farms, right?
Yeah,
certainly around here,
right?
But oh my gosh,
so and we can laugh now, but we would have been.
But imagine the other things that are in movies that you have no idea, because I was also watching that movie Something's Gotta Give with Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton.
Okay, yeah.
And Keanu Reeves plays a doctor in it, and he's ostensibly doing like an after cardiac infarction checkup on Jack Nicholson in their home, and it's hilarious if you really watch what he's doing with the stethoscope and stuff.
Oh, really?
So funny. Oh. And I love Keanu Reeves, but like that is not how that's done. Like you have not held that long enough to listen to his heart.
Oh, when he's just had an episode. Yes. He's a lot older than you would think, eh?
Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
He's 55. I looked it up. I was like, I wonder if he's single.
Yeah. I know. He looks great. He was on...
he's an amazing person, too.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Graham Norton, as you know, British TV.
We're really get off track, sorry.
Yeah. So he was on, and I forget who he was on with, somebody who was younger than him that didn't look as good. And they couldn't believe that that's how old he was.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's done a lot of tanning.
No, anyway, I was
yeah,
like...
he's your age.
Yeah. I'm not in the market anymore, but...
Keanu, if you're watching this, please come to our farm.
Yeah.
Okay. I swear that's the last I'm going to say about it. Yeah. Okay. He's Canadian, too. Yeah. I just might have looked into it.
Yeah. You seem to know a lot of details.
Terrible. Okay. Yeah. So we have, for the rest of our shop update, a big book bonanza.
Yes.
The big book bonanza. Okay. Yeah. So we've added Kate Davies.
Yeah.
I have no idea how to say this.
No.
It's a beautiful book.
It's the hat book.
It's the hat book. The patterns are all very unique. You know how sometimes you get a book and you're like, well, kind of same.
Yeah.
They're like, look at this crown design.
Beautiful.
Like, oh, I want to knit everything in this. And what's really cool is one of the designs was actually designed by a woman from Chesapeake, Nova Scotia.
Yes.
And who knew, not me, that Kate didn't do all her own designs. And I'm not sure if this is the first time that they haven't all been hers in a book or not, but I'm kind of quickly looking for it, but I don't know if I'll be able to find it. So yeah, this is the one designed by the woman from Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
So very cool. So we've listed this book.
Yeah.
Done. We have one copy of the Vintage Shetland Project.
Right.
Actually, yeah, so I'm going to put this up just for fun.
Okay.
In case you haven't been able to get it, or you're close by, or weird pricing between countries, or whatever the case may be. Right. It's locally available if that's something you're interested in, or if there's anyone on the island watching and you've been dying to get your hands on this book. What's really cruel is they ship it wrapped in plastic.
Yeah.
How mean for the shop owners.
Yes.
We haven't been able to... When someone did come in and buy one, I was like, can you open that? It was terrible. I held on to it for like 20 minutes. She's like, I'd like my book back.
You're wearing it out.
Yeah. I hope you washed your hands.
Yeah.
It's definitely
Where's your white glove?
It's definitely an investment piece. Bristol Ivy's latest, I believe, Knitting Outside the Box 2. So there was already another Knitting Outside the Box. This one is about drape and fold. And there's some really neat designs in here. Yeah. And I've knit one pattern of Bristol's, but I think she's a bit of a genius. Like, yeah. I really do enjoy her style of designing. So that's that one going up.
Yep.
And then the latest pom-pom is already been listed.
Yeah.
I don't know if I showed it or I just put it up or...
Oh, I think you showed a picture of it. but we
I don't
haven't.
know. No,
Charlie's
I think I put it
over
in
there.
the newsletter.
Charlie's over there really snoozing under the Christmas tree.
Oh, God bless her.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so happy she's still here. Oh, terrible thing to have happen. Okay, and then this is the book that contains The Wild and Reckless Heart.
Right.
And I think this might be the last copy, and it's out of print now.
Oh, yeah?
I'll look around and see if we have others, but I'm going to list this just in case anyone wants to knit the boyfriend sweater or
And I think
Frankensweater.
the pictures were taken in Nova Scotia for that.
This is
book,
all
too.
done on, not Nova Scotia, in New Brunswick.
Oh, okay.
What's it called? The Bay of Fundy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez,
look.
what's it called?
A lot on the go.
tired. There's a lot on the go. You can't if you're from here and you can't remember the Bay of Fundy, you're really struggling.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. So this is it here. Yeah.
You have to be careful.
I don't want to
this
break
kind
the swine. The swine.
Yeah.
I'm losing it. The swine of the sweater.
Yeah.
Okay, so this book, if you want
It's
to make
right
a
on the
sweater,
cover.
it's on the cover. Helpful. So we've spoken about Ash many
Yes.
times. So that's a designer that we knit quite frequently.
Yes,
So that
we
book
do.
is here. Okay.
Yeah, so that's good. So that's it for the shop update.
Yep.
All the other stuff is
This is getting long.
yeah,
Okay.
we're there. Okay, so we're gonna do a Fiber Festival update.
Okay.
So
If the website's ready, which I think it might be, I'll put it in the show notes.
yes,
It might not be.
I got a 404 error.
So that's probably a good thing they're working on it.
yeah, so
Yeah,
we're working
okay.
on it. If that means that they're working on it. If there's
Well,
a
because
404.
it wasn't
Oh,
doing
okay.
that. Yeah.
All right.
Something's happening.
Yeah, so here's the situation. There's been an organizing committee that's been struck, and they are meeting regularly, and things are progressing. So there's going to be email addresses that if you want info, and then there will be adding things to the website, and they're just working on forms for vendors and for workshop people that want to be considered to be instructors in the workshop and other info. So that's all coming along. So things are moving forward. I think the last time that we were on the last episode, we already confirmed that the Kaylee,
Yeah,
the most
that was our
important-
update.
yeah,
Yeah, the
that
most
was your
important. That's the most
party
important
thing.
thing for me.
Yes.
Well, it's not like I'm going to be buying yarn. Let's be honest.
No. So, so
I will
that's
be buying
all,
beer.
Yeah, that's all coming along. So it's great, and it was. I had the opportunity to take. There's an event planner that's working on it, and I had the opportunity to tour the hotel with her again last week, and I was getting very excited just doing the tour.
It's very excited.
Yes.
Yeah, so let us know if you're thinking of coming, because I've gotten a few notes recently, because this is the time of year when people start to think about next summer's vacation, as
Right.
you would need to do to take your mind off January blahs.
Right.
And few people have said, well, I'm thinking of coming in September, but if you're thinking of coming in September, make sure you come for that.
Yeah.
And
September
please share it with
25th,
all your
26th,
knitting groups,
27th.
or when you share, if you're kind enough to share our podcast on your social media, you can mention it as an intro to that, because we really want to have a very robust, fun group of people join us for the first annual one, so that there will be a second annual one.
Yes, we're really
we want to
excited.
Kaylee every year with you crazy knitters.
Yeah.
We had so much fun, not exactly Kayleeing, but whatever that was happening in the lobby of the hotel at Knit East.
Yes, exactly.
Yarn knitter revelry is really something
best.
else.
It's the best.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's coming along, and then as soon as the website is up and has information on it, we'll probably post somewhere.
Oh, definitely.
Talk
I'm
about it.
thinking it might be. Oh, Charlie's shaking.
Yeah.
It might be in the show notes on this Friday, but if not, the website should definitely be live by
Yeah,
next
being
episode.
actively worked on.
Yes.
So that's it.
Okay.
So then we have Ask Us Anything, and we missed that last time because we were in crisis mode with the vet thing.
I look so terrible. You could see how stressed I am in that video.
Yeah, much better now.
Yeah, much better now.
Sure.
Hello. She's like, I'm bored with this place. Can
Yeah.
we go home?
This is, yeah.
Okay.
She's going to the door.
Yeah.
All right. So the first question comes from Cable Tech. It's a name, a user I can actually.
Okay,
There's
for
no
once.
question. There's no question. Cable Tech, and she wants to know what breed of sheep is found. Their fleece found in our yards. So it varies to a certain extent, the amount of each, but this is in general, this is where we have Canadian Arcot, which is not known as a wool breed. However,
it's lovely.
It's lovely and soft, and we use a lot of lamb's wool.
And it's nice and white, which I love for dyeing.
Quite white and quite fine. And in our world, it's quite fine. It's not, not 16
not a thing
micron.
wrong with it.
Yeah, not 16 microns or anything, but it is quite a fine wool. And that now makes up the bulk because we supplement our own farm's wool with that. But now we're making more. The more wool or more yarn we make, the more of the Arcot is in there. But we also have our yarn, which is mostly Corriedale crosses and Border Leicester crosses. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a mishmash. So
those are 2 wool breeds.
Yes, and this customer this comment was coming from somebody who wanted to know because they were trying to delve into the breed specific yarn. So ours is not a breed specific yarn as in one sheep breed, but it's always made up of those things.
It's pretty much Canadian Arcot at this point.
Yeah. And we do mohair in the sock and the lace, and that actually is right now still being produced from Angora goat herd that was located here on Prince Edward Island but has since been dispersed, and we're getting down to the end. I keep saying we're getting down to the end, and then Ken pulls out another bag everybody found. So just to recap for people that don't know, there was a woman on the island that had quite a large Angora goat herd. She retired, was downsizing her farm many years after she retired, and found her last clip that she had taken from her goat herd, and we bought it. Mm-hmm. So right now we're using that, and after this is gone, which will be fairly quickly, then we have another source in Canada for our mohair.
Ontario.
Yeah, for our mohair, and we'll let you know when we get to that point. But right now we still have.
And we would love for somebody else on the island to start raising Angora goats.
Yes, that would be great.
Now.
That would be great.
That would help us out a lot.
Yeah, and then we do a little bit of blending with alpaca when we have it, which is from Green Gable alpacas here on Prince Edward Island, and we have Angora rabbits, as you know, on our own farm, and we've also purchased some Canadian Angora as well because we wanted to make
Alberta,
more from Alberta. Yeah. So that's it. So that's all of the fibers that we use in our own yarn. No synthetic fibers.
Right.
And if anything changes and we use something else, then we'll announce it. Yeah. So that's it. And the other question is, Mimi loves to knit too. So I guess there's a Mimi loves to knit 1. This is Mimi loves to knit 2. And she wants to know if it's hard to knit with the mohair by itself. And she's referring to my birds of a feather shawl that I'm knitting with a cashmere blend that we have. Because there is a farmer in Nova Scotia that provided us with some cashmere.
Who we interviewed.
So you can check that out. And the answer to that is surprisingly no. Because that's exactly what I was afraid of. Because there's sections in this pattern that you just use a single strand of mohair lace weight yarn, and I was also afraid that it was going to be really fiddly to work with, and it's not at all. So I'm using the Rowan Kid Silk Haze in my project, and we carry that yarn here. It's one of the 2 commercial yarns that we carry, and I enjoy it enough that I'm actually going to be. I followed hashtag Kid Silk Haze on Instagram, and there's some really beautiful projects.
You can do some really neat stuff with that because it's so transparent, like different effects with different densities and stripes and things like that.
Yeah, so it's really so I'm actually thinking about doing a project with that on its own. And yesterday at knit night, or last night at knit night, one of our knitters, Laura, came with a stranded project with a strand of Rowan Kid Silk Haze with our yarn. These pair of mittens that
just a beautiful bloom on it.
Oh my goodness, the colors that she chose, and she put them together, and you actually just want them.
Yeah, really turned out nice.
Yeah,
holding it double stranded with stuff is really, really nice.
Yeah, so it was just,
and then that makes it easy to knit with. Like, you wouldn't even notice it's there.
Yeah,
because it can be a bit slippery.
Yeah.
Like if you're knitting it really loose with a metal needle, I'd
Yeah.
probably go for a wooden needle just to give a little bit more grip.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. But it's not as difficult as you might expect.
and it goes fast because you do typically knit it in a pretty loose gauge. Most of the
Yes.
patterns, you're not knitting it like what you would think. It's not scaled down to the gauge of what its thickness would
Right.
make you think.
Right.
Even though it's a very, very fine thread, you typically knit it very loose, like
Yes.
even with a 4 or 5 millimeter.
Yeah,
So it
in
goes
fact,
fast.
I think the pattern, my bird, which I need another.
I know.
If I knew somebody that could make me another ball of petals yarn,
So it goes fast and it's actually easy to read because the
Yeah.
silk thread forms a very definite line. So
it looks like a drawing that you see in knitting instructions.
Yeah, so the knitting is actually very easy to read with it.
Yeah.
I was surprised myself.
Right.
Yeah.
And what was I going to say? Yeah, so the birds of a feather, you use the same needle in the sections that for a 3-ply. What I'm using is heavier than, it's like a DK or a sport in the 3-ply, the wool part, and the Kid Silk Haze part is the same needle size, and I think it's a 4 or 4.5.
And that's quite typical with
Yeah.
patterns using it.
And the other fear that I had was that it was going to be too delicate, but it's really
Oh
strong.
no, silk is as strong as steel.
Yeah, it's
For
really
its weight.
strong. Yeah, yeah. So no worries.
Yeah, no
Knit with
worries.
it. It's beautiful. I love it personally.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are some really cool effects that can be done with it, mixed
Yes.
in with other things. and
Yeah,
whatnot.
there's lots of pictures of really nice.
Yeah, so you could follow the hashtag Kid Silk Haze.
Yeah,
and
it
see
might
some
say
of those.
Rowan Kid Silk Haze, but it
Okay.
was easy to find. I searched
Right.
because I wanted to follow it. So.
Okay.
Okay, so I think that's it for today.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so we have we celebrate Christmas.
Yes.
So we'll say Merry Christmas to everybody
Yes.
that celebrates Christmas, and Happy Holidays to everybody else.
Yes.
If it's not a holiday, then just have a great 2
Whatever
weeks.
you're celebrating.
Whatever you're celebrating.
Wishing you all the blessings.
Our family is coming to the farm.
Oh, sorry, did I have a look?
Yeah. So it's
The
gonna
rest
be
of our
busy.
family.
Yeah, so my mother and father are coming, and our sister is coming
Yeah.
with her family.
Yeah.
And
All those zany nuts.
yeah. So they're all gonna. So there'll be lots of stories
We'll be
to be
descending
told.
on the farm.
We'll have to convince Ken to one of our favorite drinks on Christmas Eve to have is Clamato.
Oh, I
If
think
you
I
don't-
had
if
some
you don't-
Clamato in my
Yeah.
fridge from last year.
If you don't know, probably won't drink that one. If you don't know what Clamato juice is, because it's kind of a Canadian thing.
I guess
So
so.
we make Caesars.
I don't think they're going to think it sounds better after you
Yeah.
explain it.
And the good thing about Caesars as a drink is that they taste just as good as virgin Caesars without the vodka.
Yeah, probably better.
Yeah.
And they have a snack inserted in.
Yeah.
Either a
A
spicy
big
bean or some celery. You get your crudité in your drink.
Yeah.
Sometimes an oyster. No,
Yeah,
shrimp.
I don't like that.
Sometimes
yeah,
a
the
shrimp.
shrimp is okay.
Yeah.
Anything that you can picture that would be good with kind of like a
Tomatoey
tomatoey,
juice.
cocktail-y sauce kind
Yeah.
of thing. It's good. So and they're just as good, like I said, as virgin non-alcoholic
Right.
drinks. So that's a good one to have. And we bought a turkey from a local farmer, a next door neighbor. He had turkeys that were running around in his yard. So
Which is now running around our walk-in freezer.
yeah, we don't want to talk about that.
Oh,
But
okay.
anyway, it'll be turkey.
Yeah.
So it'll
We
that'll
do
be-
eat meat, yes.
Yeah, we do eat meat. So so that's it.
Yeah, but we'll have another podcast. So this one's going up on the 20th.
Yeah.
And we'll be a few more days past our New Year's celebration than we were last year.
Right.
Last year we did it the morning after.
Yeah, that was really well.
Somebody
we've been
commented,
dedicated.
I know some people commented, what dedication to never miss an episode, when your dog is ill, having no idea that I also didn't miss one during like a whole separation thing.
Yeah.
And various other things. Like
Yeah.
we have a saying around here now, well, of course, it's recording day.
Yes.
Of course that would happen. Because we have to record the podcast
Yeah.
today or tomorrow or the next day, whenever we can fit
Right.
it in, because this is a disaster now.
And then there's the whole editing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a commitment to all of you. We have like the very best viewers, so we just
You're right.
never want to let you down. We know
No.
people are expecting it to come out every second Friday, and we have not missed a one.
No.
Sometimes we've really recorded it at the last minute to get it done.
Right.
Because of life. Yeah. It seems like
Yeah.
it's been very complicated. I'd say of the
So-
26 that we've had to do, or 28 now, about 12 of them have been in the middle of a crisis.
Yeah, because there's always some kind of crisis.
Yeah, and if you're now going back and binge watching, you'll see certain ones at the beginning where I'm kind of like like this at the beginning. That's why. something just happened, and up until the minute we sit down, I'm like,
Yeah. And
I'm just kind of like this.
The one thing though is it kind of keeps you having to do, like having the discipline to do this kind of keeps your perspective.
I don't know. It takes a lot of discipline sometimes,
Yeah,
but we always manage to cheer up at least by halfway through.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so sometimes it starts off kind of.
Mostly, it's like I'm like,
oh, are you?
and you're
Did
talking.
you go back?
I know. There's a few where I'm like, oh my god.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm doing this, and there's a whatever.
This is really. I really wish that hadn't happened just this morning.
Yeah.
Whatever, or yesterday. And I don't know what we're doing for New Year's this year, but something.
Yeah, that was a big discussion at our neighbor's place where we
because
went.
we don't know if we want to go back to the K. Lee Hall.
Yeah. So we don't know. Anyway.
Well, maybe we will. There's nothing wrong with the K. Lee Hall.
No.
But
No.
we might not want to do the same thing 2 years in a row and all. So
But
that might be the only option.
Yeah, because we're always so socially active that we get bored of doing the same thing twice. Hardly ever. Okay. All right. So shall we go?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Bye.
Bye.